pastor at the National Church, the Empowerment Word and Truth Church, where my senior leaders are Apostle Robbie and Sharon Peters. Love my home church, love my leaders, and I absolutely love what my senior leader is doing as far as kingdom empowerment is concerned. Been with Apostle Sharon prior before her marriage to Apostle Peters, been following her for over 20, I believe, years. In the process of that, when she got married to Apostle Peters, been following them since the midst of their marriage. And so therefore, I am grateful that God has grown me up. Let me explain that. Let me explain what I mean by growing me up. When I came into the fellowship of Word and Truth Church, I was an individual that was not very good in articulating her words. Hear me good. I wasn't good in articulating my words. I was good at speaking them, but I wasn't good as far as tactfulness, if you understand what I'm saying. It was what I thought I said. Didn't care how I hurt your feelings. Didn't consider your feelings. And I just spoke what I said. So when I came in that ministry, my husband brought us into that ministry, the first thing God did with me under the leadership then, he set me down for 3 years. Because I came into that church home hurting individuals, and the senior leader at that time told me, I am not going to allow you to hurt my people. I'm not. I'm not going to allow you to come in here and hurt my people. And so that senior leader, because I came in as an evangelist, that senior leader at that time set me down up under his leadership for 3 years. And he said, I want you to learn my people. I want you to learn them. Because you cannot come in here thinking that you're going to hurt them. So I sat very attentively. The scripture that was given to me was study to be quiet. And I had to learn and study how to be quiet. Because I learned that my opinion wasn't always asked for. Therefore, I need not verbalize what I was not asked. And so therefore, I learned that scripture so wholeheartedly, how to study to be quiet. But in addition to, while God had me sit for 3 years up under this ministry, my ears became attuned to how I spoke. I paid attention to how I spoke. I was careful in how I spoke. I was very compassionate in how I spoke. I took my time in speaking. And so therefore, I learned a lot in how to study to be quiet. So if you ever get a leader that tells you, 1 Thessalonians, to study to be quiet, take heart to it. Don't take it so much internalizing it, but take heart to it, because God is trying to make you into something. And so therefore, I followed that ministry. And then I went on now, I'm following this ministry, the Empowerment Word and Truth Church, and I'm even learning even more. You never stop learning. Please understand, I don't care what your title may be, what position you may hold, you never stop learning. Never get in the school of the unlearned. Always be willing to learn, because you can always learn something from any and everybody. Please keep your heart attuned to that. You can always learn something. So being up under this ministry with my 2 new senior leaders, I've learned a lot on Apostle Robbie C. Peters, so much. I've learned a lot even the more under Apostle Sharon Peters, so much that God has allowed me now to sit before you all to share something with you all. That my senior leader, Apostle Robbie C. Peters, sees that I'm able now to do. Can't say I was able to do that some years ago. But he is now allowing me to talk to his people. Amen. Whereas once before I wasn't allowed to talk to no people. Amen. You know, God is funny. And now he allows me to talk to some people. And so I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative of this opportunity to be before you all. And the reason why my senior leader has allowed me to come to you all, he has allowed me because I wrote a book called Are There Any Minions in the House? Not so much about demons, the demonic or anything like that, and I'll explain that in a minute. But I wrote a book about Are There Any Minions in the House? Obtaining the mindset to serve. Because under the two senior leaders I have been up under, I have learned how to serve. I learned. And I learned by changing my mindset. It's a hard thing, please understand that. But I had to learn how to change my mindset on some things that I want to kind of share with you all. I'm not going to share a lot of the book with you all. There's 2 chapters that I did pull that I want to bring before you on today. And let me explain to you how I came to this book. I have some nieces and nephews. And when they come over to TT house, they like to watch cartoons, just like any typical children do. And one of the movies that they came over to the house and they loved to watch, I don't care how many animation was out there, they loved this particular movie called Despicable Me. Yeah. That I had to sit there and watch Despicable Me 1 and 2. And as I watch Despicable 1, I don't look at things like that you may look at things, okay? Or may other individuals may look at things. Sometimes as I'm looking at something, God begins to speak. And so I was looking at Despicable Me and fell in love with this animation from Disney. Despicable Me. And in this movie, it's about 2 things. It's about Gru, who happens to be the villain, and his things that he created, these little yellow organisms that they're called minions. And these minions' sole purpose was to serve Gru. Gru created these little yellow organisms just to serve him. That's their whole identity. That was their whole purpose of life. That's their whole existence, that Gru created them to just serve him. Sound familiar? God's whole existence, God's whole purpose, in a nutshell, can you serve me? You can't have no other God before me. I am a jealous God. I want you to serve me. May sound selfish, but isn't it awesome that the Creator thought enough to create you, and knowing that you have the ability to serve him. And so in Despicable Me, which I think is kind of funny, because the word despicable means someone deserving to be despised. Despicable Me. They deserve to be despised. They deserve to be disregarded and distrusted. They deserve it. And Gru didn't think he can get it from anybody else unless he created it, somebody to serve him himself. So he created these little yellow organisms called minions. I want you all to think about yourselves. There are some people you just will not allow in your circle because they just don't know how to serve you. You create your circle. Think about who you got in your circle. You created your circle. There are people you just ain't gonna allow in your circle. Due to whatever the reason may be, you created your own circle. So Gru created his own minions in Despicable Me. And so in my book that I wrote, there are 6 chapters, but there's only 2 chapters that I want to deal with. That's why I said it's not going to take me long. And one of the chapters is going to be following before serving. Following before serving. Remember I told you in advance that I came into this pastor's house and he said, you're not going to come in here and hurt my people? Yeah. What he was telling me is, you're going to learn how to follow before you serve them. I need you to learn how to follow before you serve them. Because if you're unable to follow, you will not be able to serve. Amen. Hear me. If you're unable to follow, you will not be able to serve. Because there always is a following. Been following Apostle Sharon Pierce for years. Been following her husband and her for years. Now he's allowing me to serve. Didn't let me do it the first time. Didn't let me do it the second time. Didn't let me do it, but now I have an opportunity to what? To serve. Why? Because I followed. And there's a style in following. There's a style in following. And listen, it's not your style. There's a style to following. Apostle Cheryl's ministering to the wind. She has her own armor bearer. To the women. She has her own armor bearer. That is Pastor Aretha Green. She's not here today. You know what I am? I'm a dynamic number 2. I'm good at it. I'm not number 1. And I'm okay with that. But I promise you all I'm a good 2. I'm a good 2. I'm a good filler-inner. Don't even know if that's a word. I'm a good filler-inner. I don't have to be in the spotlight. I don't have to be number 1. That's called following. I don't have to be number 1. I don't have to be seen. I don't have to be heard. But when you need me, I'm there. And I'm a good number 2. You know why I'm a good number 2? Because I watched number 1. I watched how Pastor Green serves her. I watched how my husband serves Apostle Robbie C. I watch, I observe, which then when you need me, I know how to do the job. Amen. Because I'm a very good observant. And I pick up, I ain't gotta say nothing, I just, oh, so that's what they, okay, do that. Okay, she wants to, okay, she don't like her face being, you know, I watch. So learn to be good at whatever position you're in. Amen. Whatever position you are called to serve in. Just learn to work your position. And I do have that in the book, but we'll talk about that. Okay. So in Despicable Me, listen, I am going to do 2 sets of scriptures. And if you have your books, you can mark them or however you want. I'm coming from Matthew 25 today, and I'm going to come from Luke 7. First thing I want to talk about, as I stated with you all, is this. In Matthew 25 is where I first want to start. And as you get to Matthew 25, it will talk to you about 2 things in that midst of that scripture. Let me get there. Matthew 25. Matthew 25. I want to show you some things that the Lord showed me. And if you already are aware of these things, I'm just going to ask you to digress for a little bit with me to make me think I'm smart. Okay? All right. You may know this, but just let me think I'm smart for a minute. Matthew 25. In the book of Matthew 25, you would find a parable about 10 virgins, yes? Yes. You will find a story about 10 virgins in the midst of Matthew 25. Matter of fact, it starts right at the beginning of it as you begin to read. Let me get there. I will be coming out of the NIV. Okay? So the parable of the 10 virgins is where Matthew 25 starts. There's a parable there. And then if you go down to Matthew 25 and 14, one rendition of scripture would say the parable of the bags of gold, and then another one would say the talents. Okay? But there are parables there. Now, what is a parable? A parable is a short story that teaches a moral or spiritual lesson. A moral or spiritual lesson. It is different from fables. It's not a fable. Parables are different from fables. Parables use people in the midst of the story, whereas fables may employ the use of animals, plants, inanimate objects, forces of nature as its main characters. So there's a difference between parables and fables. Now listen to this. There are, listen, I had to go do some counting. There are many parables in the Bible told by Jesus. And therefore, in Matthew, there are 23 parables. In Mark, there are 8 parables, and in Luke, there are 24 parables. So Jesus used a lot of parables to depict a story that would bring forth a moral or spiritual lesson that need to be taught, right? And so in Matthew 25, you talk about the 10 virgins, who I do not want to talk about. But I do want to talk about the parable that he gave concerning the men or the servants with talents. Following before serving. Following before service. Listen to this. Matthew 25:14. It says, again, it would be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Did y'all hear that? Again, it would be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. Then the master went on his journey. I find it so interesting in Matthew 25, as I talked to you about following before serving. One of the things that the master did, he didn't call his enemies. He didn't. He didn't call his friends. He didn't. But the Bible lets me know he called who? His servants. He called the individuals that have been following him. Not his enemies, not his friends. But the Bible lets me know, again, it would be like a man going on a journey who would call his servants to him. Guess what? He didn't call just all of the servants. I thought that was unique. Because I'm quite sure he had a lot of servants. Just like us. Quite sure he had a lot of them. But he only called 3. He called 3 servants. Now, let me help you all out here. It didn't say if they were male or female. I thought that was unique. Which means anybody can be a servant. Anybody can be a servant. Again, it would be like a man going on a journey who called his servants, and he did something. He entrusted them. The 3 servants that he called, he trusted them. He entrusted them with what? His money. Ooh-wee. He trusted them with his money. The most valuable thing to him, he trusted them with his money. Why? Because I said earlier, they learned how to follow. I'm going to prove it to you. They learned how to follow. He called servants that he trusted with his wealth, and he gave to them 1 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags of gold, and to one bag of gold, according to their ability. So number 1, servants are entrusted with wealth. Servants are given tasks, number 2, and responsibility according to their ability. So stop being jealous of who gets more than you. Stop. It doesn't matter. Did you get a bag? Because everybody didn't get a bag. Did you get a bag? That's kudos right there. Don't worry about if you didn't get, well, so-and-so got 5 bags, and he got 2 bags, and she got 1, but baby, did you get a bag? Because everybody is not getting bags. All right? So don't worry about what you get. Just work with what you get. All right? Because your master sees some ability within you. And that's what leaders do. They see the ability within you. Let me tell you something. You can't be a servant if you ain't got no leader. Amen. Servants come with leaders. Yes. Not leaders with servants. That's out of order. But servants come with leaders. Every time somebody say they're a leader, watch their servants. Because I promise you they got some. All right? So this leader entrusted his servants, not his friends, not his enemies, with his wealth. This leader also gave his servants certain tasks and responsibilities according to their ability. My husband often uses this analogy in our home because he'll talk about our sons. And I got one son that think he can do everything up under the sun. All right? And my husband will often, when we used to do groceries, he would say, my baby boy would come and say, give me the bag. And he would want the bag with the cans. You know, all them cans in the bag. He want the little thing on the bag with the cans. And then I had an older son that didn't want to do nothing. And so then my husband would say, take a bag. You know, but he would tell the little one, I can't give you this bag because it's too heavy. But hon, you can take this upstairs and you can take a loaf of bread upstairs. I don't even trust you with my eggs. You know, but you can't take the cans because they're just too heavy for you. It's not that I know you can't do anything. I know you can, but according to the ability and the stature that you are right now, take the bread. I'll even trust you with the eggs. But I cannot give you the cans. Because it's not according to your ability. It's not according to your makeup. You won't be able to handle that. So you have to trust that what your leaders put in your hand, they know you have the ability to handle. Don't get mad. Because they gave to Susie something you think is more heavy and prevalent than versus what they gave you. Be content in what you got. Because at least you got a bag. All right? So number one, the servants are entrusted with wealth. The servants are given tasks and responsibility according to their ability. And what their master, those of you that may know the story as we continue to read, let's go. 16. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more bags. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. Did he do what he believed the leader wanted him to do with the bag? Put it like this. Maybe my question didn't come out right. Let me tell you this. If your leader, we're going to use bags today. If your leader gives you a bag, number one, it's a good thing because he realizes you can follow, right? He knows you know how to follow him, obey, not be disobedient. He trusts you. You're good servants, right? Now, if your leader gives you a bag, you do have to know this. He's looking for you to do something with it. You have leaders that have armor bearers that carry their bags, right? You've seen that. Come on, any church, you've seen that. I do it for Apostle Sharon all the time. Well, I'm number 2. All right? And as I carry her bags and her shoes, because my mom likes shoes, all right? And so as I carry her bag and her shoes, when she sits down, do y'all still see me standing there holding her bag and her shoes? No. If I do, I look stupid. All right? So once she sits, I sit down her bag, and I sit down her shoes, right where she's stationed, so she can get to her items. So in other words, when your leader gives you something to do, give you something to hold, you have to know you got to do something with it. Is what I'm trying to illustrate to you. So, with this being said, the man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more bags. Awesome. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. Beautiful. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. Not good. Not good. Not good. No. Because what servants do, servants, number 3, become fruitful and multiply. And guess what? Your leader wants you to become fruitful. and multiply. They desire for you to do that. That's why they gave you a bag. They want you to be fruitful and multiply. Listen, 21. His master replied, okay, 19. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me. You trusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. I have gained 5 more. There is a method to the madness when you serve your leaders. Trust me. There is a method to the madness when you serve your leaders. But this is only if you serve them well. You got to serve them well. No leader wants somebody serving them and don't do it well. Am I right, Bishop Sanders? No leader has the time to try to figure out if you're going to be there on time. You got to do it well. No leader, if they have trained you on how to serve them, because they will train you on how to serve them. Just like this guy that's going on a long journey. I'm trusting you all to take care of some business. Why am I trusting you to take care of some business while I'm gone? Because you've been watching me do business. You 3 have been watching me do business, so I want you to do business while I'm gone. And while I'm gone, for you to do business, you're going to need money to do business. So therefore, I'm a place in your hand according to the ability that I know you're able to handle, so you can do business for me. One thing our servants are allotted to when they follow their leader, y'all know that's how kids used to play follow the leader, right? You do whatever the leader said and you hop on one foot, and then you hop on one foot, follow the leader. And then anybody that can't follow the leader get put out the game. Go somewhere and sit down. You didn't follow the leader, right? You get put out the game, you all, if you don't follow the leader. And so here it is, following the leader allows servants to things. They get the opportunity to watch their leaders do business, even in the kingdom. I worked with one of my leaders. They had an apostolic meeting with other apostles. I'm not an apostle. But I had the opportunity to go. Guess what? Not only did I have the opportunity to go, but this little old servant here had the opportunity to sit in a room she ain't familiar with. Yeah. And guess what I did? I sat and studied to be quiet. You get to watch them do business. You get them to say something. You get to hear them say some things. You do, if you learn how to serve well. Because you cannot take somebody that don't know how to serve well and be quiet into business meetings. Well. Because remember, you can't be the show. You got to learn to be quiet. They say, I'm going to take you in this room with me. You know, and thank God, she didn't have to tell me what to do, because I've been following long enough to know to go in there, sit down, and be quiet. Don't say nothing. I knew that. And I got to hear some things. I got to hear plans, business decisions, goals that they were planning to do. I got to hear appointments, when they was going to do it. Then as they did their calendar, I did mine. I'm really going to be here such and such and such, on such and such a day. Got to make sure my schedule's free, because I want to go to Mexico. Do you hear me? All because I'm a servant that knows how to follow. All right? And so here's the leader. He comes back from his journey, and he wants an account. What did y'all do? It's just like for those of you, your senior leaders may leave the church home and they put certain people in order and in position and whatever. They're looking back to come back to a church home. They're looking to see the same members they left you with. Please don't let them come back to an empty house. Please. You're supposed to have your leader spirit. Please don't let them come back home to an empty house with less members than they had before they left. It would be wonderful. Don't y'all think it would be so good that by the time they come back, be like, Master, we won 10 souls to Christ. Yeah. 10 souls, and they a new class. Yes. That would be awesome instead of the Smiths left. We don't know why. They just left. Oh, you know why. But please, when your leaders come back, let them come back to the home that they left you in. If not greater. If not greater. So here's the master. He comes back home. He said, what did y'all do? And they told him what they did. And 21 says, his master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. Apostle Taylor on last night was hitting some things I wanted to hit, but since he spoke, I'm going to leave him alone. Because I looked at my mom like, he all in my leave it alone. But since he said it, I'm going to leave it alone. And so, therefore, his master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. Are y'all there with me? Yes. Because I want to show y'all something. You have been faithful with a few things. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Not many things, just a few. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge now of many things. Wow. Come and share your master's happiness. Wow. Another translation says this, and this is what I want to get to. This is the benefit of being a good servant. Learning how to follow, doing what you're supposed to do, not trying to be the show, just doing what they asked you to do. His master replied, well done, a good and faithful servant. That's good. That's good all by itself. In addition to, you have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. That's good. Because now you have the ability, you have shown me you can handle more. Okay, my baby grew up, you all. From the little boy that wanted to carry the cans, to when he did have the ability to carry the cans, he didn't want the doggone cans. But now you have the ability to carry the cans, and now you don't even want the cans. So don't get mad when you get more responsibility. It is an indication to you, and it's just let some bell ring within you saying, I've grown up. Yes. My leader sees my ability. It's not that they're trying to make it stressful for you. It should be an indication to you that your leader says, I see you growing up. I see your ability. I see I can give you more responsibility. Because I know you're able to handle it. So here it is. It says that now the leader says, that's good, that's faithful servant. You've been faithful a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. But this is what I love. Come and share your master's happiness. If you ever learn how to follow well in your serving, you would then find yourself, another rendition says it in another, I don't know if it's the Message or whatever, but it says this, come now and be a part of my world. Wow. Come now and be a part of my world. Because see, you weren't a part of my world. Hallelujah. You knew nothing about my world as a leader. You really don't know the ins and outs of what I do. But see, now, because I know you know how to do business with my money, and you did a good job with it, you made it fruitful, and you multiplied it, the master now says, I want you to be my partner. I want to introduce you to some people. I want you to come in my world.
That's right.
Let me show you some even more things that you can do that you ain't even thought about doing. Come on, let me teach you some more stuff. Servants get to become partners.
Amen.
No longer called a servant, but now you're a partner. You're a partner that now has servants of your own. Y'all better hear me. Come and enter my world. This is what he says. Come and enter my world. And the man with 2 bags, he said, you did good. You multiplied. That's all I care about. You too can come and be a part of my world. Come and enter my happiness. You know, Apostle Taylor on last night was sharing some of his happiness with us on last night. He shared his happiness of his old house being able to fit in his new house. That's happiness. He shared some happiness about a car that I can't even remember. He mentioned talking about it's paid for. That's happiness. That's wisdom that you want to get from your master so that you can enjoy his world. He mentioned a car last night. What was the name of it?
Maybach. Oh.
Yeah, that's what he said. And I didn't know what he was talking about. Especially when he said Maybach, Kaboo. Y'all know that? See, y'all don't know the name.
Yeah. Maybach.
Yeah, Maybach. I turned around to somebody.
Yes.
And I said, what is that?
Oh my God.
I did. I'm being transparent. And he told me what it was, and then he was so sweet to look it up for me to show me the picture. I said, now I can think. I can think higher. Because see, I can't think if I never know nothing about it. I can think because I'm a servant. I can get that. I can obtain some things. You know. And so I thought that was so funny to me because I'm like, I don't know. Because see, that was in my master's world.
Wow.
Some things you can't even think about because you ain't even been in their world. Much less to know to ask God for it because you know nothing about it. But when you become a partner, not a partner in crime. Let me clear that up. But when you become a kingdom partner with your leader, you get to see some things and you can be able to ask for some things. Because God has now elevated you from servant to partner. Listen, there is something in following called the who factor. W-H-O. The who factor. W stands for willingness. You got to be willing to follow. You got to be willing. The H stands for humility. You got to have some humility in order to follow. When Apostle Robbie C let me know that he wanted me to do this year, I was very humbled at my leader because I wasn't looking for it. I thought within myself to say no, but then I was like, stupid, you're getting more responsibility. Your leader sees something in you that you're able to speak unto his people.